Okay, welcome everybody to the Mind Body Spirit Summit. Today I'm so excited. We have Keri Norley with us, and we're going to talk about lots of magical things. So I will introduce you to her first. Keri Norley is the Manifesting Queen and creator of Business Manifestors Club and the Manifesting Mindset Bootcamp. Loves to help you create an epic life on your terms. She is passionate about all things manifesting and helping you live your life in complete alignment so that things show up with ease. She loves helping you to work through your mindset and uncover the blocks that are holding you back from being the person who gets to live your dreams. She loves helping you follow the signs to walk on your own path, to follow your heart and your soul's purpose, and to ultimately manifest all your deepest desires. Some of Keri's favorite tools include Feng Shui, numerology, colors, shamanic work, creative expression, mindset work, journaling, and more, bringing fun, simplicity, depth, and sacred space to help her clients create the epic life, brings her so much joy, and allows her to live her soul's purpose. Welcome,
That's
Keri.
Totally the truth. Thanks, Abby.
You're welcome. Okay, well, so first off, I'd love for our listeners to hear about your story. How did you get into this world of Feng Shui, manifesting, numerology, all of that stuff?
Cool. It started actually many years ago when I was wanting to practice massage therapy. It's how I started in the field. And as does, I would say you would agree with, that once you start opening this can of worms, it just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
I ended up doing my training in neurolinguistic programming, which got me into mindset work, and I started to realize that I was helping my clients with their mind way more than I was the massage for all of the Americans here. And
I like how you say it better.
And so it led me down that path, through that rabbit warren, into wanting to understand how that all works way more. And after I had my second son, I took a break from work for a few months, and I was actually helping my husband he was doing fat loss personal training work mostly, and he really wanted to get back into, we met in massage training, so he really wanted to get back into his bodywork business, and basically helped him switching over and growing his new massage practice. And from there, we got within the first 6 months, we were from 0 to 20 clients within a week, within about the first 5-6 months. And at the same time, we were playing with Feng Shui, which is a good, that in and of itself is a good result.
Sure.
So we started playing with Feng Shui and having we ended up having a mentor come. And the woman who did the Feng Shui also teaches it. And she does it from a business perspective, which was a new way of me looking at Feng Shui. I've never had anybody do that. So we were really interesting. So we had her come, and she rebranded him to a much more aligned Feng Shui branding. And we Feng Shuied the house. And within a month, I started getting more into what I want to do with my life, and less into marketing him.
Yeah.
And I started just saying, let the Feng Shui do the thing. And I'm not kidding, within a month, he was at 35 hours a week and had a wait list.
Wow.
And I was like, what the?
Right.
And I don't understand this.
Right.
And so I was like, I have to know more. I have to understand this. I want to know. And so a few months later, I found myself in a Feng Shui training. The night before I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be doing Feng Shui training all of my years. And then from there, she teaches it with numerology and colors and how it all works together. So when you have a Feng Shui home, if we look at the numbers, the address of the home, that will also have an energy piece to it. So she teaches all of these different things. And then with each person within the home, numerologically, we each have our own, like the stars. I'll speak just very briefly about it because a lot of people don't know about numerology much either. But it's much like horoscopes. If you've read your horoscope, pretty much everybody who reads a horoscope goes, yeah, I totally get that.
Right.
Well, numerology is much the same. It's another profiling, I'll call it, system that it goes by your birth date, birth name, and tons of other information that you can gather from that. And so the way she does it is you take this numerology report, you can do the numerology for everyone in the house, and then you Feng Shui it directly to those people in the house so that the energy is totally aligned to you as a person versus just as going in Feng Shui, which also works too. Going in Feng Shui works too. Magically, but it just makes it even more. So when she started teaching it, I was like, oh my God, all right, sign me up, just put me in all of them.
I'm all in.
I'm all in, whatever. So that's how it all started. And then I ended up working with her, and she in Australia, she's got quite a name for herself. So I studied with her in Australia. And the thing that I always love about the way she teaches is she does it in a no-fluff way. And it was really simple. And I think Feng Shui, and I'll say this right here and now, actually, to start with, can get really complicated. And it's a lot of reasons why people don't venture into it, because there is, I guess, quite a science behind it. I mean, it's not just willy-nilly throw something in there.
Right.
And there's a few different schools of thought, and I'm really grateful. I happened to stumble into a woman who really likes the simple school of thought, and it still gets the most amazing results. So that's one of the reasons I love teaching Feng Shui as well, because it keeps it really simple, whereas I think a lot of people, when you go and get some of those books, it's like you have to have a master's degree to understand what the heck they're talking about.
Right. Right. So it's like Feng Shui, yeah.
And then you just put it back down again, because I'm like, that looks cute. I have to
Exactly.
get a compass out, what he's talking about, this, just leave it over there.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I love this way of doing it.
Okay, awesome. Could you describe for us, like, what is Feng Shui? How would you define it?
So Feng Shui is basically energy alignment within your house. So, for example, like if we look at chiropractic with you, like if we look at all the spine and everything, like everything's about coming back into that alignment that you can help shift things into.
Yes.
And it's the same thing in house. When we walk through a house, there's an energy pattern and energy flow. And so by having certain things in certain, and I actually will say not even house, it's a space, any space.
Yes.
It can be an office space, it can be a desk space, it can be a specific room, any space. And within it, there will be a flow of energy. And if you literally think about it, like you open the door and the energy flows in. If you think about wind, it'll come in, it'll go through. And if it's getting blocked in any way, shape, or form, or if there's drainage in certain areas, then we have to be mindful of where that energy goes and flows so that we can create the most effective, I guess, energy flow so that you can get the best results. And looking at the other thing about Feng Shui is it looks at different areas of life. That's one of the things, like, is that when you Feng Shui your home, you start to look at the areas, like certain areas will be blocked. Right. And you can just look at certain areas of your house and start to go, okay, well, if I work with this, we can start to release the flow in my life around that specific area.
Sure. Okay. Awesome.
Make sense?
Totally. And so why would it be important for, I mean, you probably are like everyone's house and office to be Feng Shui. But when should someone think like, you know what, I should probably do some Feng Shui and shift the energy in my home or my office or whatever?
Yeah, you're right. I would say everybody.
Right. That's why I'm like, who should see a chiropractor? I'm like, everyone.
Everybody.
That's it. Yeah.
Everybody should have it. I agree with you. Chiropractic.
Which is like horrible marketing. Like, who's your ideal patient? Anyone. Anyone with
anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone that has a pulse, you better come in and have this, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Agreed. But I think, and it's funny, I was thinking about earlier today about this interview, obviously, because I had it coming up today. And I was thinking about how the similarity between chiropractic and some of this work is that people come to you when they're in pain.
Yeah.
Right? Like, unfortunately, the reality is that when someone's in enough pain, they show up and go, oh my God, I can't move, Abby. Can you fix me?
Right.
Unfortunately.
Totally.
Unfortunately, if we had everybody and they all showed up like before the pain.
Right.
But that's ultimately when people will come. Like, they're going to realize that things are not working. Things are feeling blocked in their life. They're trying to get ahead in some area. And no matter what they do, they're like, oh my God, I'm banging my head against the wall.
Yeah.
And the thing that I find, and I guess for me, having worked in mindset and coaching and life transformation for so long, there's so many tools, and you're the same. Like, there's so many tools within your tool belt that you can pull out for different areas. The thing that I love about Feng Shui and why I think it's so amazing is it's easy. Like, it's really sillily easy. Right. I'm going to tell you, just go move that thing from there to there. You don't have to think about it. Right. Don't try too hard.
Right.
Just go move that thing. Go put that thing there and go and put this picture up on that wall. Yes. Oh, wait, you've got that happening. Right, you've got drainage in that area. Let me give you a rock to put in that spot. Right. Oh, that water's behind you. That's not going to work.
Right.
And you just shift things. You don't have to think about it.
Right, totally.
You just do it, you know? And I think that's what's so easy about Feng Shui and why I love this tool. Because when we start looking at the deeper aspects of health, you and I will both say, like, it takes inner work.
Right.
And it takes wanting to show up into, and even with Feng Shui, it takes wanting to show up and shift things, right? Because I still laugh, like even when I did it myself and when I have clients, some things will take 6 months for someone to move the thing 5 feet. You're like, seriously, how come you haven't done it yet? Right. But it's because that same energetic level, right? We're still not ready for that result that's going to come when you actually just move that thing.
Right.
Why haven't you just washed those windows yet? Why are they still dirty?
Right.
I don't know. I'm like, you weren't really ready for those clients, were you?
Totally. I love that. That's so true, though.
It's so true.
Yeah. That's awesome. I would love to hear a couple of stories, maybe from a couple different areas. Like if you have a story about how Feng Shui has helped someone's health or well-being, like an example that you've seen, and an example from like a money perspective. I know you already kind of spoke to the one with your husband, but.
Yeah. Oh, think about health and well-being. It's funny. I haven't thought about that one. Another one with money. I had a lot of the stuff because I do a lot of this with business, but a lot of it has done with one woman after her Feng Shui consult created her first $11,000 day, which is awesome. Love that one. Yeah. Let me think about health. You know what? To me, it's like I think it goes along with health in everything else. Like you. It's like you can come here and see me, but I also have to make sure that that you're also being supported by a health practitioner to make sure that you're still making nutritional changes, that you're still going out and exercising. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people end up with way more flow in their health and more energy.
Yeah, totally.
Inevitably, they will always get more energy because they're not feeling drained by what's going on in their house. So every single one of them, they would have said afterwards that they have more energy, more vitality, more zest for life because it's easier. It just gets easier.
Yeah, it's lighter.
Yeah, and when everything's easier, I mean, hello, isn't life better and you feel better and you like ready to get up and face the world every day. So
yeah. I heard an example of a woman from another Feng Shui consultant I know that she was having like horrible chronic migraines, had done all this stuff, went in there and her bedroom was like a disaster, Feng Shui-wise. And it was like her room, where she slept. And they changed it around. They like finally went away. So when something's energetic, which as we all know, even health things can manifest that way.
Absolutely. And even still, like, I feel like if you're blocked anywhere in your life, there's going to be health things that show up for it. And like, for example, one of the things I was thinking about was, and I think it's a mental thing, right? Because one of the clients I worked with was around attracting her soulmate, which is, again, a bit different. But like, we had been working together for a while and she kept bringing all these different people in and it was like, yay, oh no, he's gay. Yay!
Right.
Like all those funny things that come up. Oh, he's not. Okay, right.
So close.
Yay!
Yeah.
So close. And so finally when I started, because I started working with her before I did Feng Shui, when I finally did Feng Shui, we Feng Shuied. I didn't even see. This is how cool Feng Shui is. I have never actually seen her house. But I told her where she had to put it. And when it didn't work the first month, I was like, she's like, I got this guy, but it didn't work. And I was like, what did you put there? I told you to send me the picture that you were putting there.
Right.
And she hadn't. And I said, oh, that's why. Change your picture. Put this up instead. And she's like, okay. Within that month, she manifested her man. And I actually just found out she's just had I think a few months ago, had her first little baby. And they're on like an amazing soulmate love relationship. Absolutely adore each other. And awesome. And like I can just like for me, when you think about that, of course, like I knew she wasn't happy in her life. Like she had all these other things going on. She wasn't energized, like all these things. When you start to shift that, it shifts everything. And
sure.
It's like when you're in that alignment to what you ultimately want, everything will shift.
Totally. I love it. Okay, now if you had to choose, this will be another hard question. Would you say it's more important to Feng Shui your home or office?
Which one is more important to Feng Shui?
Yeah. Like which one did you do first?
I suppose it depends on your intention and your goals.
Yeah.
And your reasons.
Yeah.
So obviously, and I will say also that a lot of people I work with work from home, so it's all one and the same.
Yeah.
For you, if you were wanting to do to increase your financial flow, I'd be doing your office first.
Right.
Because you're separate from your house.
Sure.
And then but I'd be doing them both.
Yeah.
Because the principles are the same. So if you know how to do your office, then you can do your home.
Similar thing.
And
Yeah. Awesome.
I wouldn't do, I mean, yeah. If your health is your thing, then I would be, and you don't have, no, I would just do them both.
Yeah.
But if it was finances, I'm just thinking like if it was finances, I'd start in my office.
Office makes sense. Yeah.
But then if it's health, I probably would start in my home.
Sure.
But oftentimes if we think about our work, that could be the thing that is...
That's what's making us sick.
Draining us.
Yeah. Totally. 100%. Okay, so everyone feng shui everything. It's the take-home point. Go big or go
your
home.
Car, your vision board.
Yeah, totally. I have my feng shui vision board. I just did it a couple weeks ago.
Yay!
Up in my success corner. It's doing its thing.
Nice one.
Yeah. Okay, so I'd love to know for our listeners, what are like 1 or 2 take-homes that they could apply, maybe just even a general overarching feng shui rule that they could apply to their home or office?
Okay, the first one is, this is a really, really, really powerful one. This is what I was like saying, oh, don't do that one.
Yeah.
Is water. So being really, really careful about where you place any water is huge. So for example, pictures of water, it's funny because this is where I video all the time. I haven't found the amazing post, the piece that's going to go behind my head yet.
Yeah.
Because I'm so ridiculously anal about what will go there.
Right.
But it never should be like behind you on your couch or above you on your bed, like wherever you sleep. You should never have water because there's always, it's like, it's either an amazing thing or a yucky thing to put places. So water has the beautifulness of the flow.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So if we're bringing water and it flows behind us, if it's like on this couch or wherever, then you're missing opportunities. Because everything's going behind you, you can't even see them.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that when you're using water, you use it with intention to put it, like to have it flow into your abundance area, like you were saying, or into your relationship area are really good places to put water, making sure that I don't have any pictures of water with me. Making sure that you want to have them flow inwards towards coming in, not going out. Because otherwise you're sending the flow of your abundance out of your house. Right. Make sense? Yeah. And above your bed, the bad part about putting water there is it can feel like you're drowning. And you're not getting restful sleep, so that can be a really huge thing for sleep. Actually, I can tell you a story about sleep and
okay, let's hear it.
A little boy, there we go. So he was a little boy, he was about 12 years old, and we looked at his numerology, and from this is how it works. From a numerological perspective, he was a 4. Now 4 people need to have foundations. They need to feel really grounded and safe. And he was sleeping on the top bunk, and he wasn't sleeping. He was getting headaches. He had all sorts of problems happening. Couldn't focus at school. And I told her to put him on the bottom bunk. Yeah. And everything changed. Everything. Wow. Like he was sleeping through the night. He lost his headaches. Everything, because they need to feel safe and grounded. So like my son's a 4, and every time someone says put him in a bunk, I'm like, nah. Right. And he even with a mattress on the floor, will want to sleep on the floor. Wow. Like the mattress is already on the floor, and we'll still find him often nights. On the floor. Like just let him be. Right, totally. He's doing most like half the nights of the week he just wants to sleep on the floor. He's like, that's I feel safe, I feel grounded, I feel know? Yeah. So so that's something, anyway, totally random. But yeah, so behind your bed though, that water will feel like you're drowning, and so it will make you feel like you can feel like you're suffocating at night. You won't be sleeping well. And it can feel like everything is more hard in life than it has to be, because it's like I can't catch my breath because you've been sleeping underwater. Plus, it'll be emotional. And in your room, like you'll have extra emotion, which, let's be honest, anyone in a relationship for long enough knows we don't need anything extra for that. Right. There's already usually enough going on, right? Especially right over your bed. Yeah. So that's one tip. And
now, with the water thing, does that also apply to like a fountain?
Yes. So if you have little fountains,
like imagery of water or fountains.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be putting any fountains into your room. Period. Yeah. To be honest, like into a bedroom, I wouldn't put that in there. Right. At all. But you can in your abundance in your relationship corner, making sure that it faces in, or in your office. That's a really good thing. Like to have that water flow, which is there. Yeah. Okay. What's another really fun thing? Overarching. I think something interesting to bring to here is to anyone to go and check out. Just Google Bagua map, Bagua map. It will explain the layout of how your home or your office or any space looks mapped out in a Feng Shui perspective. So when you and I are sitting here talking about abundance corners or success corners or relationship corners, this will explain to you so that you're not going, what the heck are they on about? You look at what's called a Bagua map. And you can Google it. It'll show up. A million of them will show up on Google. And then basically what you do is you take that. And let's just say that this is the piece of paper that's the Bagua map. And you would take that and you would put it as you walk in the front door of your house. Mm-hmm. And the beginning square is your career path. And so you put that square at the doorway of when you walk in. I'm just going to call it your house for now. Right. It doesn't matter which space it is, right? And then your back left corner is your abundance corner. Your back right corner is your relationship corner. And then from there, you take that map and you can figure out where every space is in your home. Right. Does that make sense? Yeah. So far? Sure. And so basically what I want to explain, and I'm going to quickly just show this. Too hard to do it. So if you can imagine that sometimes in rooms, especially, and sometimes in units, it doesn't usually happen in a house. The door can be to the far, like, backed up right to one corner, so it isn't actually a space. So that means that when you look at that Bagua map, that you don't actually have those spaces in that area, right? So don't try and pretend that you can then just make it. I want you to understand that it's from the doorway, and in any home, it's from the original doorway, not from the doorway that you enter, because a lot of people use garages or whatever thing. Yes. It's from the original doorway that you walk in, that architecturally was designed for you to use, that you place that map, and then you can figure out all the different areas. And then from there, I think the most basic and actually some of the most profound things can happen without knowing anything else about Feng Shui, except to know that you can go and clear out those areas. So if you're feeling stuck in your abundance, if you're feeling stuck in your relationships, you can say, what's happening in that area in my home or my office? It would be the same thing as walking into, your office space. What's over there? Are there piles of laundry that are incomplete? Are there what's going on? Right. Is it filthy, messy books stacked up a mile high that you've not looked at that are gathering dust? Right. Well, then start to clear it out and really set the intention. I teach my clients all the time intentional cleaning. Totally. I'm like bring me a cleaner any day of the week. But hopefully you're not gonna miss.
Send out to hundreds of people. I'm sure it'll be conversation.
All right, got me? Sorry.
Yep.
You with me?
Yep.
Okay. So I talk about intentional cleaning and the fact that it's like if that area, if you want to clear something out in your life, then go clear that area of your house.
Totally.
And then set the intention that as you're cleaning, that if you need an answer, so like your bedroom, we were talking about the woman's bedroom. The bedroom is about identity. So if you're looking at what do I want to do with my life? What's going on? Who am I supposed to show up as? What's, feeling really confused about where you are in your life, go clean your bedroom. And I mean when I clean, from top to toe, scrub down walls, go under the bed, dust everything off, make it spotless and get rid of the stuff. And don't just leave it in a pile somewhere. Get rid of the stuff that you're not using. And I find that so many people just ultimately just attach to things. Yep. And sometimes we attach to things we don't even like. Because somebody gave it to me and I feel really guilty to give this away. Freedom, go give it away. Totally. Because if you're holding on to things that are not in alignment to you, then you're not leaving space for what you really want to come in and bless you in your life.
Yes.
So that would be, I think, and honestly, it's so easy. It's such an easy thing to do. And it's something that often, when I'm sitting here and I'm this is just not working anymore, I will literally put everything down. And I'll just go, what do I need to clean? And I'll just go and clean, even for half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And everything will shift and change, always.
Totally. I love it. Okay. What are a couple of, you spoke to the water thing, but what are a couple of big no-nos in Feng Shui?
So water is a big no-no. What else is a big no-no? But I can make it easy. I keep getting beds So when you go to your bed, well, this will be tricky to explain. Let me show you a picture. You want to have your bed so that, this is really important, and I find all the time that people are always like, Keri, I don't want to move my bed. I'm like, well, I'm going to live with the problem you have.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not going to make you.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. So if you have, ultimately, this would be amazing. This would be your ideal. So I don't know if you can see. Can you see? Yeah, you can see. So like if this is the door here, you want to make sure that your bed is facing, so that you're facing towards, and this would be the same thing in an office space too, that your bed is facing towards a door so that you can see. Like you never want to be what's called in the fear position, so you can't see what's coming in.
Got it.
Behind you, right?
So you wouldn't want, if you're laying down, like your head to be
right on the,
at the
right?
door.
Where
you want so you can see. Got it.
You want to see it. So you want to be able to see it. So this is the really, like if this is the door, right here is the really bad position. You're in a fear position, and someone can come in and scare the living crap out of you and you didn't know it, right?
Yeah.
So from here, you're getting that vantage point of being able to see. The same thing would be true for a desk. Like if you're in an office space, you want to be able to see that, to be able to see coming in from your doorway.
My
ideally.
Is no good.
Yeah, baby.
Dang it.
But the other thing is, you don't want to have it, like, ideally, and sometimes rooms are small, so you can't
what can
change
you do?
things, right?
Yeah.
But the bed would be, like, if the room was smaller, right?
Yeah.
If that was the room, and you put the bed here instead, then you've got your feet right out here. And again, energetically then, you're taking all of the energy that's coming into the room, and it's landing on you. So that's not your ideal, but sometimes it is what it is, and it, like, you know, bedrooms are small, and you just have to deal with that.
So then what do you do? You just amp up the space in other ways? Yeah. Okay.
It's not, like, and there's certain things, and this is what I always say about Feng Shui and houses. It's like, once I learned Feng Shui, I realized that no house is a forever home in my world.
Right.
Because I think each home teaches us a lesson, right? So each home is going to have some negative things in Feng Shui and some positive things in Feng Shui.
Right.
And you're there for the lesson of the time of the home until you're ready. And I don't know about you. Have you ever felt the feeling like when you've lived in a house, you're like, I'm done here? And it's like, it kicks you out.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I'm done learning the lesson that this house had to teach me. Because ultimately, in all of our homes, we're going to have bathrooms, we're going to have laundry rooms, we're going to have kitchens. There's going to be some way that a water's going to go down a drain, which is a drainage point in the house. So it's like, well, where is the drainage point in this house, and where are you feeling drained, right?
Yeah.
You can't, and we can remedy it, but it's still there,
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And so, how do we live with that? Awesome, like we make remedies, but still, ultimately, when you move to the next house, everything can shift and change just from the energy of the house, and so you learn the lessons to the point where you can. And some things, it's like, well, if that's the space, then well, there's not. Yeah. It is what it is sometimes, you know.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of shift gears into more like you as the practitioner. How has, over the years, you kind of spoke to your journey, but how has your practice when you work with your clients evolved to what it is now with like combining so many things?
So many things. For me, it's been, and I guess, like, I think I'll say as any practitioner, it's a lesson of like, what we want to journey in our own lives and where we find ourselves to be able to unstick ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And so as we walk the space, we're able to hold space for clients to do the same or more.
Yep.
And so for me, the more and more that I started to look into, like, I started out in mindset work. That was my baby always. It's always been my baby. And for me, it's just been adding more and more tools to help. I think that sometimes people wanted to, sometimes the thing I love about, like I said, about Feng Shui and everything is that sometimes people want a quick fix, and sometimes people want to do the deeper work. Mm-hmm. And this combines all of it. And I think that the more that we can tackle, and it's the same thing that you do with your work, Abby, like the more that you tackle, the more angles we can tackle a problem from,
right,
the more that we can shift and change it, the more that we create that experience. Mm-hmm. And I know that for me, the more that I've used all of these tools, whether it be Feng Shui, colors, numerology, mindset work, my shamanic work, all of it, mm-hmm, the more that I've stepped into who I am and my truth and my being. And so that's where I come from in this space. I talk about manifestation and alignment. And I think that ultimately the more that we dig and find the truth of who we are, and we live a path of alignment, whether it's an energetic alignment through Feng Shui or whether it's through the choices that we make in the yeses and the nos. And you talk about this, you and Keri both. And saying your yes and saying your no and going with what's true to your heart, the more that we create our dreams. Because ultimately, when we live a life in our path and when it's clear, then everything seems to kind of be easy. You know, like those times in life where you're just like, oh my God, it all just showed up. And you didn't even know how it got there.
Yeah.
That's because we were in alignment. And so how do we work to always bring ourselves into whether it's the physical level of alignment, which is ultimately what shows up because of the energetic and deep soul level of alignment. And so everything around you is always just a reflection of who you are. And so for me, all of the work just comes back to how do we get you back to the truth of who you are so that you can with ease manifest your desires. Because when you're living on that path, then everything shows up because it's meant to.
Yeah, totally. I love it. Now I know like there's so many different things you do. And I'm kind of like this in my work. I kind of go through almost different phases. Where like I'm loving floral essences right now, and then it might shift, right? So, what is your current phase? What's your current like favorite thing you're doing, or that makes you really excited?
Oh, my current phase is definitely the deep mindset work, the deep alignment soul work right now, and really holding people strongly to their alignment. Because what I find is that people are scared to stand in their power. And they know the things they're supposed to do. You would see this even in health, right? Like,
right, totally.
Especially, right? The same, right? But that people know what they have to do. I mean, like, we talk about diet and eating. How many of us still screw that up, right?
Right, totally.
Whatever, you're like, don't eat that thing because I've just tested you and I've said it's not going to work. And then that's the thing they do. They leave and they eat the Snickers bar, right?
Right. Totally.
Like, seriously? And so it's the same thing on that soul alignment path. It's like, I have so many clients I'm working with. I'm like, you know it's right in front of you. Just pick it up and walk, right? Yes. But it's that holding that space to say, it's right in front of you and you're safe. And you do the same thing and you're safe. And this is your truth. And helping people to really find what their truth is, whatever means that it comes by, so that they can stand in that and stand in their fullest power. Because to me, I know in this last few years, I'm not going to get into politics, but in these last few years, as things have really shifted and changed in this world, I really believe that it takes, that's why I love summits like this, because I believe that it takes the world to raise up the light that we need to raise to overcome the crap that's going on right now. And especially in this country, like there's just day after day, too many disgusting and horrible things that happen. And for me, like the more that I can work with people who will stand in their power and their light so that we can all come together and do this and create a more beautiful, loving, harmonious place to live, then that's for me like the depth of my soul, my calling. Yeah. So, and Feng Shui is a tool of that, but that's definitely like the deep work to say, here you are, stand in this and shine your light is like, bring it on every day of the week.
Yeah, totally. There you are. Awesome. Now, you spoke to your husband's, your experience helping him to grow his business, but I'd love to know, like, what steps did you take to grow your own practice with your clients?
The first step, and I remember actually, I think you're like, one of the things I would say as far as a manifesting tip, like, and where I think where everything starts is knowing where you want to go. And being really, really, really clear about where it is that you want to go, whether it's your health, whether it's your relationships, whether it's manifesting the man of your dreams, whether it's something I've been playing with over this last year is actually manifesting the man of my dreams within my relationship, because we all grow and evolve, right? And so we started to get to the point where it was like, where are we? We've had kids, what's going on? I was like, no, this is what I want. This is what I want. Let's make this happen. And so it all starts with, whether it's in business or relationships, or health or career or whatever, finances, it's knowing where you want to go. And so that to me is step number one for me. And then from there, it's like saying, okay, so getting more and more clear on what that looks like and focusing on it every day, like every day. consistently.
Right.
Not just writing it once and saying, yep, someday this thing will happen. It's like, well, what do I do? What do I want? And then today asking myself, like, what's the one thing that's going to get me closer to that goal today?
Mm-hmm.
And then actually doing that thing.
Yes.
Because, right, we know. How many of us say that's the thing, but then we don't go off and do that thing?
Totally.
And then we wonder why the result didn't happen. Because I think that so many times when we talk about manifesting, so many people have been led to believe by certain things that, you know, like we can meditate and have a bag of money fall on our heads.
Yep.
And then that's it. And I'm done. Meditate
Yeah.
once and I'm done. Pray once and I'm done. We're like, well, no. Like, if I want to lose weight, I got to still show up and do my walking every day that I said I was going to do.
Right. Totally.
I can't just sit here eating my bag of chips and hoping that the fat's going to go away. So
Yes. Well, I love that you
so-
spoke to that, because I do think that's a big, almost misconception, that you meditate or you write your intentions or whatever, and then poof, it's just going to happen. But we also have to show up.
Yeah.
And like give that energy to the universe too, that we're willing to, that we're ready for it.
That we're committed and that we're saying, I'm really here. Because ultimately what happens when you say that, right? And I'm sure you've experienced this. When you say that, yes, I'm here, then the universe tests you. It says, are you really?
Right.
Here.
Right.
Go to this Christmas party and sit
Right.
amongst a whole bunch of people drinking and eating.
Right.
Really? Do you
Right.
really want it?
Right. Totally.
And how are you going to show up then? Or like in business, you know, even here, like you doing the summit,
Mhm.
you were called to do the summit. It wasn't, I guarantee, I haven't talked to you about it every day, but I guarantee that everything hasn't been all roses and
Right.
amazingness.
Yeah, totally.
Right? There's been
Yeah.
hiccups that have happened and roadblocks that have happened, and the universe is testing you, saying, do you really want it? Because you could have backed down. You could have said, I don't really want this.
Sure.
You know, and so that's the whole thing is, and I think that's why important to have a person that's working with you on whatever level to help you to create your dreams. Because, and I have coaches myself and healers, and, you know, I see you and
Right.
Keri, and
Right.
everybody, like
Right.
it's all important. And because when the universe throws something at you and says, really, do you want it? You have someone to say, do you? What's the way around it? How do we go through it? Or stand in that power and just say, yes, I do, and take that next step and show up and be willing to be vulnerable, whether it's on camera or whether it's, you know, saying, it's really hard for me not to eat that thing. It's really hard for me to move. It's really hard for me to let go of the thing that's giving me the headache. It's really hard for me
Right.
to, and get that support that says, you can do it.
Right.
And so I think ultimately, like, that's it. Like, you set the goal, you set the intention, and then you every day you focus on it, and then you say, well, what's the aligned action for me to take right now? And sometimes, especially, and I think this is really important in business, and when we start to look at growing a business as a lifestyle, and I think that's a lot of things that people don't talk about now with business, and I think it's really, really important. It's something I crusade about. Because a lot of people get into business thinking that they're going to all of a sudden have this dream life, but then what they find is they're actually working 80 hours a week.
Right.
They could go get a job, make more money, and
Right. Right.
and work less hours,
Less, yeah. Right.
and have more freedom
Right.
than actually having your own business. And I think it's really important to set that boundary of, you know, what's the aligned action? Well, the aligned action is that I still have to go and exercise. I still have to, not even have to, I get to. I still get to feed my body with the right fuels. I still get to, if I'm tired, have a nap.
Yeah.
I still get to meditate. I still get to do all of these things, and looking at where is it find into that place of alignment to be able to integrate all of it. Because that's, like, to me, when I recreated my business, because I was running my business for a few years and then took a break as we moved. Then when I recreated my business, it was around that. It had to be in alignment with my lifestyle and my Are you with me?
Yep.
Yeah, good. In alignment with my lifestyle, and create it from that place. So it's then taking that with.
Oh, I just lost your sound a little bit. There we go. Not yet.
Got me?
Yep. There you
Yeah.
go.
So yes, the aligned action. So then you have to make sure that when we sit with that, because sometimes the aligned action is, as you would probably agree with, it is to sit and meditate and go, what is it that my next step is? You know, and I think And I think these days, I think this is why my passion right now is in this, because so often right now in the world, and this is where I was and why my business is so different now in the creation of it, is that instead of putting yourself into a box that somebody else said, this is the system that you have to follow because it worked for them, does not mean it will work for you. And so all of these tools are so important in order to actually create an aligned business, because it is always about you. It's like your health. Right. You know, like the way you test people for health, it's like, well, what works for one person is going to be different than the other. That's why we come to you. Like, what should I eat sugar or should I not? Right. So, I mean, well, no. The answer is no to that. But should I eat eggplant or should I eat, like, what's the thing that's not bothering me? Well, it's going to be different. Eggplant isn't a blanket no for everybody. Right. You know? Right. So how do we sit with that and figure that out for ourselves? And so for me, that was like, that's the most crucial piece to creating a business that works, is making sure that it's aligned in a path for you. And then from there, like I said, when I get stuck, my first thing to do will always be to go and clean something or feng shui something, or look at the area that's not working and go, why isn't it working? And then go and clear it. And it could be 20 minutes of clearing. It could do it once a week, and then move on. But almost always when I start to really beat my head against a wall somewhere, it'll be like, all right, I stop. I literally will just put all tools down. Right, what do I need to go and clear? Yeah.
I love that. If you take anything away from this interview, if you're stuck, go clean your house.
Go clean your house.
Yeah, totally.
Intentionally. Yes. Because trust me, I don't love cleaning my whole house all at one time.
Yes. I get that, though. For me, if my space isn't, like, organized and clean and moving, like, I can't even think straight. It's hard for me. So, I get it. Okay, a couple fun questions I'm going to ask you. What is your morning routine?
Depends on the day, if I have boys to drop off at school or not. Mm-hmm. But because I tend to love intermittent fasting at the moment, I don't have to worry about breakfast, which I love. And I will journal. This is my current journal. And then I tend to journal and go straight into writing for public consumption. That's my thing, because I'm usually inspired by something I've journaled in a day. And often, like, I go between journaling of very intentional question journaling to what some people call morning pages, where you just start dumping whatever's on your mind. I tend to use journaling for the space of for like answering questions or digging deeper. So I found a deeper love for journaling when I started getting way more intentional with my journaling. And then depending on the day, because my gym classes are often midday these days, I do some work and then I'll go to the gym. Right. And then move on with the day.
Nice. And if you could have...
And there's usually, when I do my journaling, I'll often do some visualization or meditation or something within that too.
Perfect.
And play with some crystals. Or,
totally. Whatever you feel like that day.
Right. Pull a car.
Totally.
Next question.
What, if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? And why?
So I have two people. Can I have two people?
Yes, you can have two people.
Okay, so one of them, when I first heard this question, was my grandma. My grandma passed away on the 23rd of December, 2017, just recently. And when her last few years, like, she was almost 101 years old, and her last few years she was struggling with her speech. Yeah, she's an amazing woman. But she was struggling with her speech. And so even though she was really coherent and knew who we were, she couldn't always find words, or like she just couldn't talk much. Right. And it was at that point in time that I had so many questions over this last 5 years, as I really stepped into myself and who I am in business and in life, that I've been like, Grandma, I want to know what it was like for you when you did some of the most incredible things in her life. I was like, how did you have the courage to do that? And all those. Yeah. So, like, for me, that's, I wish I could have asked her the questions. And at the same time, I still do,
Yeah, sure.
She's still around.
Right.
And the other person is, at this very moment in time, I would actually love to have a conversation with Gabrielle Bernstein. Mm-hmm. While she's not somebody, I don't know if everyone who knows her, like, here, she's written quite a few books. She's most recently written, I think, Judgment Detox.
Yep.
But she's done, what are some of her other books? She did a really amazing Spirit Junkie, and she did a really good manifesting book too that I loved. That was so well written, so simple and so well written. And the reason that I would love to speak with her is because she's walked this path. Mm-hmm. the path of the messenger, right? Like, how do you share your message and really abundantly create from that space an entire flowing business by being who you are and shining your light and speaking your message of truth.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. And so lately, just recently, she's become a bit of an inspiration like that for me.
Totally. Nice. And what advice would you give to your younger self?
It's funny, I just wrote a Facebook post on that the other day, and I actually had like 20 things I would do. But ultimately, it all comes down to saying yes to what feels good in my heart and saying no to everything else.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, and that's what I'm saying with clients, you know, and I would even say it with what your clients would present with as well. Like, we ultimately all know what we really want in our life, and it's just a matter of saying yes to that instead of letting everybody else's judgments and ideas and things that we think that they matter to other people or that should matter to us, the shoulds, that keep us away from saying yes to what our truth is. Or, you know, or like all the limiting beliefs that we grew up with that say you're not good enough to do that, or who the heck are you to do that, or whatever, right? Or past conditioning that says, how dare you raise your kids completely alternatively not doing what society says.
Right. Sure.
You know, which takes courage. It takes guts to do stuff like that. And so I think that ultimately that's what I would, like, looking back, I would just say, just keep saying yes to the things that you want, that don't make sense and that scare the living pants out of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally. Okay. And I'd love to know what's next for Keri Norley. What's something excited that's coming up for you?
So many things coming up for me. Manifesting Mindset Bootcamp will run again soon. I'll open doors for that again soon, which I'm excited about. So that's an amazing 12-week program that I run. That's all about your manifesting mindset and really allowing you to step into the space and alignment and live that way, and teaching you the lessons and then really holding people accountable to that. But the biggest thing, wow, I'm going to speak this out loud. The biggest thing
here we go,
is being called into my work around legacy. And so, like I said, my grandmother passed away. And for me, the reason I'm in business is because for me, I really wanted to keep going the legacy that my grandparents already created. And so I was today, just before getting on this call, sitting in frustration with my husband of what the heck does that even look like?
Right.
What does it even look like? It's funny, you're asking me, how do I create this? But like, and the first thing we said today was, well, you have to know what you want. I'm like, but I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
And so it's a frustrating point. I mean, and this is ultimately when I think that mentors are so important, because that's how they start questioning you and helping you find out what does that look like. But it's definitely, I've got a podcast that's been scaring the pants out of me to do around legacy and bringing that to the world. So if I speak it publicly here, then someone's going to hold me to that, right?
Totally. I will.
Dr. Abby's coming at me.
Yep. Where's your podcast? Your legacy podcast?
Right. I want to do a podcast called Legacy, something along the lines of legacy stories to inspire. And I think, as I was saying earlier, that it takes a lot of us to rise up and to speak our truths and to stand in our power and our light. And too often, like, I don't watch the news, but too often on the news, it's just negative. So I wanted to create stories that people could listen to that were really inspirational, from people who have really, really created amazing things on this planet. And how do we do that? And what's the kind of person that we get to be to do that? And so that's, okay, I'm speaking it here. You asked a question, I answered.
There you have it. Putting it out there.
And what evolves from there, I will allow the world to show me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's awesome. Very exciting. Okay, so I'd love for you to share with the listeners, how can they find you? What's your website, your social media?
Yep. So you can find me at KeriNorley.com. And social media is Facebook is my favorite forte, and it's Facebook.com Keri Norley. Keri Norley 1, I think, actually is my personal one, which is way more fun to play with me on.
Yeah.
Because, Facebook algorithms said that business pages couldn't really be seen anymore. And there's the Business Manifestors Club on Facebook that anyone can come and join as well. And there's freebies, which I've given you. I'll give you the links to, but you can check out these freebies that are 5 days of manifesting mindset magic. Mm-hmm. And there's another 3-day one that I've talked about, the numerology of the year, how do we create an aligned vision, and then doing your Feng Shui vision board. That's all free that you can check out as well if you want to come and get more information and like everything that we went into way deeper.
Yes.
In there.
Yes. Awesome. And please share with our listeners your very generous offer that you are putting out there.
Oh, I know. I was saying to Miss Dr. Abby before we got on this call, for some reason, I've never been felt called to share this. But for this group of wonderful people, I'm feeling called to say that for the first 5 people, whoever listens, I'm happy to do a 30-minute, I'm going to call it an alchemy session, and help you to turn whatever's happening into gold dust. Let's play and alchemize some really cool and amazing things. And the truth is that I know that when I work with people one-on-one and even in an hour session, like magic can happen, much like, totally. Working with you guys one-on-one in an hour. It's amazing what can be created in life. So, sure. Gold dust. So for the first 5 people, just send me an email, Keri@KeriNorley.com or Facebook Messenger, yes. And come and say hello, and let's set it up and do it.
Amazing. Okay, so for the first 5 people, you guys can reach out to Keri directly and receive your free 30-minute alchemy consultation. And I will leave all of this information. You guys will be able to read in the description here, all of her links for her free programs, her current stuff, and look out for your podcast.
Oh my God, yes, the podcast.
Totally. So things that make you scared are always the best.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I know I have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Because it scares your pants off. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening to Keri's interview. Again, all the information will be left for you. Thank you so much, Keri, for donating your time and your services.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we'll talk soon.